Hey, Natural. Hey, Charlie. For all those who's joining on, we on with Ariel Pegues, and she's coming right back on. She has had quite a, just read the flyer, success. Hey, Ariel, this she is. Let me check that. And I'm tapping her back in. Hey, Bree. Hey, Jackie. Les, what's going on, brother? Good you can join. There you go. Hey. Okay, wow. Look at the people just jumping back on. This is just amazing. This is just amazing. Everybody that's joining on, put a clap in the comments if you've been getting some good information. Everyone is joining on. Please put a clap in the comments if you've been getting some information. So where were we at, Ariel? What was our last, what were we talking about last?
I think we were talking about block busting and redlining and different things like that.
Yeah.
You know, just to reiterate, it's against the law.
Right.
But we know that it's happening in certain communities, you know, near us. And one of those things to remedy that situation and to, you know, keep our presence strong is to make sure that we get involved in investing in real estate. You know, if you're purchasing and buying in those neighborhoods, you know, you can't be redlined. You have ownership.
For the individuals, and I fell in this category before I started studying for my real estate license. For the individuals that's on this platform that don't understand or know what that is, what is block busting, or what is redlining, and what is steering?
It's so just to make it simple so that, you know, everyone can follow.
Yeah.
It's when you're in a neighborhood and you drive the homeowners and things out based on race, religion, those type of things. And you try to change the demographics in the neighborhood in a drastic way, in an illegal way, by buying people out of their properties or scaring them out of their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was saying that the way that, you know, this can be stopped in an indirect way is to make sure that our Black community is purchasing real estate. Purchasing and investing real estate will put an end to some of this stuff. And like I said, you know, this is happening a lot in DC. In some of our, you know, well-known neighborhoods where they're tearing down schools and different things like that, and building other stuff. I mean, in some other locations, it is, you know, helpful, and it's, you know, you know, growing the community, but we're also changing the culture of the community, and we're also changing the culture in DC in a way that, you know, isn't the way we remembered. So how you you know, fight back on that is make sure you're purchasing property in your neighborhood.
So Ariel, first of all, thank you for that. Because I like I said, I am studying. I know it's a very careful way to explain that, where you want to, you know, stay in the rims of everything. And I think you did an excellent job. But I also think that it's important that people understand this historically, right? Because we got a lot of laws in place to make them different now. But like you said, understand how you combat that from ever happening again. Or for people who are mentioning and saying, for my guy Les put gentrification in the chat line. How do you defeat gentrification? I put a question on my on my personal page saying, does real estate, ownership of real estate and gentrification, do they have a connect relationship? What will be your response to that question?
My response is simple: buy the block. You know, get your friends together, get your investor group together, and start purchasing in the neighborhoods where you grew up at. That's how you stay and establish. Because, you know, at the end of the day, these are topics and things that we're expected not to know about. So when the people that do know about it come in and purchase your neighborhood because, you know, the market value is lower or whatever the case is, they can turn around and flip your property to something you had no idea what it was worth. So I think how we fight back on that is, number one, become educated in real estate. You know, read books on investing, but and I said this one day, and I got a lot of questions. I wrote on, I think it was either Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
I said, start with what you have.
Yeah.
Your wealth in real estate is not based off of how much money you have. It's the byproduct.
Yeah.
It's actually what you get out of investing.
Yes.
So investing in real estate is not wealth. It's the byproduct. It's the end result of investing. So if you have a little bit, start with what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And build on that, and keep building on that, and keep building on that.
So, Ariel, for someone that want to start, I started in real estate. Actually invested in real estate, I would say 5 or 6 years ago, and it's one of the most powerful decisions I ever made. I actually, to my regrets, from some perspective, spent over, I don't want to do the amount, but I spent an extraordinary amount of money going to do the bus tour and all this. If I could do it again, I wish I had someone to partner with and put that money into real estate and do it on the ground, because that's when you really learn. But for someone that that wants to start to perhaps buy a property or buy a single family, I mean, what is that starting point? You mentioned credit. I mean, the biggest thing that I remember when I went to try to buy my first property was, could I do it? Is this something I can do? Because it seems like I mean, from where we grow up with, we're taught in many perspectives. I'll give you an example. May my mother rest in peace, very beautiful lady. But we grew up in Washington, D.C. on Quebec Street off of George Avenue, a house that's...
I know where that is.
Value for over $900,000 now.
Yeah.
But we stayed in that house for over 30 years, and she was renting. She was renting the house, and I never knew the difference between buying and renting. So for someone that's on this chat line, and I know there are people on this chat line, they hear this, and they like want to touch it, but they're like, okay, is the first step toward buying your first property really that hard? Or what credit score do you have to have, and how much money do you have to have saved?
So Miss Mayo posted
Gabby.
something that I preach all the time. Credit is power. It's not the amount of money you have. It's the amount of credit you have. Your credit score is what identifies you in the real estate world.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that being said, the credit will drive you into a lower interest rate.
Okay.
The lower your credit score, the higher your interest rate is going to be, because the lender is thinking that you're a big risk.
Yes.
But I said this a few minutes ago. Start with what you have.
Yeah.
Start saving some funds.
Yeah.
You can apply for, certain loans and get grants and stuff, but that one real estate property will change your life.
Yes.
Do some research on areas on where to purchase. I always tell my investors, wherever they're building new schools, that's where you want to buy. That's where the value is going to increase. Wherever they're building shopping centers, malls, casinos, that's where you want to purchase at.
Okay.
That's where the money is going to go.
Okay.
So, do your research, choose the neighborhoods that, make sense in relations to what I just said. But the myth is that you need 20% down for, to purchase. Yeah. That's false.
Right. Yeah.
That's false.
It's about 3%.
If you go on my timeline, some of my clients pay $0 to get in the house. It just depends on the scenario.
And for those who just tuning in, Ariel's Instagram handle is My Brilliant Agent. So I know we have a lot of questions and we didn't reach them all, and we probably won't get a chance, because this is something this takes time to really get a real understanding. But just having the conversation started and people thinking about the ownership of real estate was our goal here. Nevertheless, trying to get in the industry. This young lady is building a team, and she's looking for go-getters. I mean, that's the simplified way to say it, but she's a go-getter. Obviously, she wants to look for individuals that's willing to work. Ross had a question, and Ross, you can reach out to Gabby, who she just you can reach out to this young lady that I'm pinning now if you want information, or maybe Ariel. But Ross' question was, what is the best way to build your credit? I know Gabby does some work with credit building, but go ahead, Ariel.
So I have a white paper that I wrote about managing your credit and different things like that. So inbox me if you want that. Yeah. But I'll just take a few points from that. the main thing you want to do is keep your oldest accounts in good standing. Your longest standing credit card. For me, I was offered a credit card in college,
Yeah.
which was a no-no. But that was my my credit card that I had that was open the longest.
Left for credit.
So don't close old accounts. Once you pay them off, keep them open.
Let me just speak on this. Now, this is funny, but I have to touch on this. And since we got the time to do it, I'll be very quick. But that's amazing you said that. I started my credit many, many years ago. But I started from a secure credit card with Cities. Okay?
Yep.
And then I bought another credit card. And then I got with the credit card, and I had one blunder. This was years ago, Ariel. And Cities, they're very good. If you have one blender, they'll cap your credit. So if you got like 2,000 out, and they might see anything, they'll cap it at like 2,200. And the debt credit will make your credit rise up. It'll mess your credit up. And I got arrogant and said, I'm done with credit. I got the money to pay this. And I, paid it off and got rid of my first credit card. And for a while, it negatively impacted my credit.
Yep.
That goes to you. That was one of my oldest credit cards, which reduced my length of having credit. So I encourage everybody to understand, if you have a credit card that you started with, do whatever you can do till you build more credit cards to hold that, because length of credit plays an extraordinary role with building your credit.
Don't destroy your credit in college, whatever you do, because that's what happened to me. Those creditors will come on campus and offer you a credit card, and they will offer you a ridiculous limit. And it's one of those things where you have to have some, you just have to have some control. If you can't pay it off or keep it below 30%, then you don't need to have it. Revolving credit is awesome. That also builds your credit. If you have a parent or, somebody that is a mentor or somebody that that trusts you, you can also become an authorized user on their credit card. Yeah. That will also build your credit, because they're paying, even though you might not have the card or be using it, their payments towards the card will build your credit. Yeah. If they're not. And you want to be an authorized user on their oldest account. Yeah. And make sure in its account that they're paying, and that will build your credit as well. So those are some key things. And also you want to keep the balance. I think I said this, but keep the balance below 30%. What mortgage lenders are looking at is your usage of your credit. Absolutely. So if you're always using your credit and all of the cards are maxed out, more than likely your credit score is going to be crappy. But if you're keeping the balances down, paying them off, and you can actually show a record of you paying your bills, your credit score will be where it needs to be. Medical bills, they've changed the laws on those. They don't impact you as much. Yeah. When you're getting ready to buy a house, you might want to just make sure that you've looked over your credit. I'm sorry, but I look at my credit every day. What platform do you use? I use the Capital One app. Gotcha. Okay. And it will alert me if somebody is using my social security number. You want to be vigilant about that stuff. Yeah. I used to work in the identity theft department, and you'd be surprised about how much stuff that people do on other people's credit and scams and stuff like that. Be vigilant about that stuff, because you can get messed up out here, just with somebody using your credit, or, buying a whole bunch of stuff under your name. So you have to just watch that. That's your identity that someone's using. I appreciate you for sharing that. And Ariel, I just want to, for all those just tapping in or just getting in and don't know the story, it's Ariel Pegues, and she's giving us the game in real estate. She is one heck of a real estate agent. Her Instagram handle is My Brilliant Agent. I know you got a lot of guys, but I really highly actually encourage you guys to follow her and DM her. I know she has a heart, big heart. So she'll be more than welcome to help you guys with a lot of these questions. We're going to ask a couple of these questions, and we're going to try to tune anything up, because I know you did say you were a super mom. And like I said, it's like JoJo mentioned in here. Thanks for that, JoJo. This is free game, and he put a diamond on it. One individual answered one question, and then
Miss Hardy asked a question. Miss Hardy was on our platform, so I'm going to respect those two questions. She said, Sharice, I'm going to call her Shell. She put, what if I have a great credit score, but I am self-employed? Will it be hard to buy a home as a single mom? Before you answer that question, what I like to add on top of that, Ariel, is how early to a person come to you that's thinking about buying a home? Should it be when they're ready and they got their money and their credit fixed, or when do you pre-start your process with your clients?
I start the process as soon as it becomes a thought in their mind.
Okay.
So I'm not one of those agents that is like, oh, come to me when you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm willing to get you ready for that process.
Yeah.
So if you're unsure, this is something that you decided that you want to do, but you're unsure how to start, I'm there from start to finish.
Yeah. Okay.
Preparation is key in this in this process. So I'm helping. The smooth landing or the stick the landing is how you start.
Yeah.
So I will, as many times I help people fix their credit. Give them a game plan. I'll always come up with a game plan on how they can get to their goal. That's the first meeting that I have with my clients. What's your goal? What are you trying to do? So that I can understand what the plan needs to be for them. And I give them a plan. I'm checking in on them, on a monthly basis, depending on how long, it will take to get to the goal. But I like to start out the gate with my customers, whether they're ready to buy in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Even if it's, not until next year. I like to be in the game at the beginning so that I can help guide them to that process.
Good stuff. And if you're self-employed and you want to buy a house?
So if you're self-employed, you want to make sure that you're filing taxes.
Okay.
That's the first thing. And you have to, I think it's 2 years.
Yeah.
So you have to have 2 years of income and be filing taxes for the last 2 years to be able to purchase a property or purchase real estate self-employed.
Yeah, good try. Ms. Hardy answered, this is the last question I'm going to take, and then I'm going to ask one final question, and then we're going to wrap things up. She said, Cheryl said, thank you so much for this. I will look into setting up a consultation with you.
There's, I wanted to say this. There's a link in my bio where you can go to and actually look at my schedule and select a date and time that you want to set up a consultation. I just seen somebody that said they wanted to set up a consultation.
Yes.
So I'm just letting you know the process. Go to my website. Go to my profile, my Brilliant Agent.
That's My Brilliant Agent. That's right.
Click on the link and then set up your time. It'll ask you if you're a home buyer, first time home buyer, and then you can see my schedule and actually select the time.
Charlie, could you take a second and pin her Instagram thing for us real quick? And then Miss Hardy asked a question. She said, I bought my first home. I'm looking for a second investment, but I don't have enough to buy a new home. Any advice? Now, before you answer this question, what I'd like you to wrap into it is, what's your thoughts about people who want to get in the investment game? And is that something you entertain? Because I do know they can be a pain in the neck. I know that from investing myself.
So you own a property and you want to buy an investment property.
Yeah, but don't have enough to buy a new home.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that you can look into. The first thing you can look into is pulling out equity in your home that you're in now.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a lot, but it might help you towards, a down payment on the second house or what have you. But I would start with the equity in the house that you're in now. If that's not enough, you can look into some grants and different things like that. Depending on what type of investment property it is, you can get grants and stuff like that to put towards a new purchase.
Gotcha.
But I would start with the equity and maybe refinancing the first property.
And she's a vet.
A little bit from that and putting it on the second house.
Did you hear me, Ariel? I know from talking to her, she's a vet as well. She's a veteran. She's a veteran.
What was the I never answered the 203K.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and for Carlos Gray, I don't know if he got back on it, but the 203 loans, FHA, and how does that roll into investing on properties? Taking advantage of that, and I understand a little bit. Well, you understand better than me, but basically the 203 dealing with you looking at distressed properties and rolling the construction up in the loan and FHA. And how does that roll with investment? And what advice do you have to speak on that for investors?
So the first thing with investing is to never use your own money. Anybody that's an investor,
Love it. I love it. Yeah.
You use your resources, maybe tap into a hard money lender of some sort, that's going to offer you that capital to fix the property. I think the 203K is a good option for a first-time home buyer that's looking at a fix upper. A 203K has to be used by a person that's going to occupy the property. So you can't use a 203K if you're not going to live in it. Now, I do have some investors that will live in their property for 1 to 2 years that will use the 203K and then sell and move on to the next property, and you know, they've earned a ton of equity. So I have a lot of clients that have done that, that have used the 203K as an investor and lived in the property while they were fixing it up. And then maybe lived there for 1 or 2 years and then sold it. But the point is, if you're an investor, you cannot flip property with a 203K.
That's true.
You have to be, it has to be your primary residence, and you have to live in the property. But I'm going to speak on this because I get a lot of questions about investing in different things. And I get a lot of questions about multi-units. So you can buy a multi-unit. Let's say it's a 4-unit property. And you have, you know, three tenants already in the building, and then you have one unit that's vacant. You can actually buy the building, buy the entire building with the FHA loan, move into the 1 unit, and have the other 3 tenants paying your mortgage. And get rental income. So these are the things that,
this is free games.
These are the things that we can do to sustain home ownership and start with something small and grow that.
I love it. I love it. My final question to you, and you're gonna love this question, so you ain't gotta be mad about this. This is a good one, but it's equally important. First of all, can everybody in the chat line get this young lady a round of hand for spending time with us and giving this game? Put some claps in the chat line for this young lady. Now you're gonna love this question. All right. In your most sincerest response, explain to our listeners and viewers the importance of having a well-experienced, great real estate agent.
Your agent makes the difference. Your agent makes the difference because, I mean, this is a very long process. And sometimes it doesn't have to be long, but my point is your agent is going to set the tone. They're going to have the knowledge and the skill base to get your offer through. It's a tough market in our area. So if you don't have an agent that's advocating for you, that's working on your behalf, that's knowledgeable, it can be a tough situation. So you want to make sure that you have that person on your side that has that experience, that, you know, knows how to problem solve, because you might run into an issue. You might run into, you know, multiple offer situation, or you might run into a situation, you know, through the lending side on how to, you know, navigate through, you know, getting that loan through. So your agent has to be a problem solver along with experience, and they need to have everything in the toolbox for you, because it is one of those things where, you know, it's not always smooth. So you have to have somebody that's able to problem solve for you.
And you obviously are that agent that can do all that, right?
Oh, I love fixing. I love fixing things. I love fixing things. So, you know, at the end of the day, I gravitated towards this business because I love helping people. And so that's the fun that I get into, you know, that you know, drives me every day. When I wake up, it's not like, oh, I got to go to work. It's like, how can I help today? Like, what do I need to do today? You know,
you love it. Just from briefly talking to you, I can see how late at nights, I mean, you're working with the clients, you out, but you love it. I mean, I mean, you notice I post some pictures from your profile, so I went back and I said, wow. I mean, you've been in real estate for a long time, you know. So you
in July it'll be 14 years. 14 years.
Wow.
So you know, I haven't. It hasn't been you know, glitter and glam the whole way through. You know, I really really, you know, had to put in some elbow grease
Yeah.
to get,
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
get where I am. And I just also feel like I'm nowhere still, and there's
Yeah.
more, you know, to
I
do. But
appreciate that. I appreciate that humility. Can when we get on here, I just want to say you're now tuned into the Moment of Truth from Community Connoisseurs. We speaking with Ariel Pegues, and she has done over 20 million in real estate sales. It's been a wonderful conversation. We've been beyond our hour because the question and people were just so tuned in. When we do this, let me share this on while we local. Reason for us starting this, Ariel, because we wanted to give our viewers a way of using free media, a positive way where we can actually learn and have positivity, encouraging, instead of the narrative of, you know, what you see on these platforms, which is a bunch of negativity and some experts, particularly for our people. So we started this podcast because we wanted to show our people that there's a way we can use this free media to encourage people, uplift people. In this, I just want to basically, you know, say thank you for being here, but we always give our listeners some final words. Can I go ahead and open the floor and give you the, first of all, thank you. Everyone, once again, put the claps in the clap line. And I want to give you some final words before we close this up.
I'll just start by saying that the sky is not the limit. Whatever you're reaching for, whether it's real estate or whatever, you know, goals you see for yourself, don't let anybody put a limit on you. That's the important part about being in business and just striving for something. You know, take that journey, embrace that journey, learn, you know, your lessons and learn things and take notes. Don't be afraid to take criticism. Criticism helps you get better. It helps you tweak the things that you need to work on as an individual. So don't get yourself down on criticism. Learn to build on it. But the main thing is just having a positive attitude through whatever it is that you choose, whatever journey that you choose, and embrace it all. Embrace it all.
I love it. I appreciate that, Ariel. You have just blessed this platform. For all you guys is on here, make sure you follow her. Make sure you DM her. Make sure you have serious inquiries. Just make sure, because her time is very important as well as yours. And I want to thank you. God bless you. Thank you for what you do. We love you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, wasn't that it, guys? So, again, she just gave us the game for free. So I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. This is the Moment of Truth each and every Thursday, 7:30. We love you guys. I hope you learned something from this. Make sure you follow on our page if you're not, and tune in with us every night, Thursday night at 7:30.